Quorum, so I'll call this meeting to order. First item on the agenda is to approve the agenda.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Okay, the agenda is approved. Agenda item number 2 is to approve the minutes for the March 11th, 2019 regular meeting, the March 25th and March 29th 2019 special meetings. I read through those minutes. I didn't see anything too alarming. I think Jason was here for all of them, right? So I will make the motion to approve the minutes. Second it. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Okay. We have adopted the minutes. Okay. Agenda item number 3 is approve invoices and financial statements. Just for the rest of the board's awareness, I sent a question to Crystal and Chad on the payment to Burns and Ripke in the amount of $20,000. That I received clarification that I assumed was the case. So the contract says that we'll pay a third at the day of hiring. Signing, and then another third within 30 days of starting the contract. So by the time we have our next regularly scheduled meeting, that second criteria will have passed. So this is for essentially 2/3 of the contract price.
And then the final is upon completion.
Yeah. And that'll really reconcile the difference based on what the salary is. We're making an estimation right now on what we expect the salary is, but that won't be finalized until the end.
We expect it to be 30-ish, correct?
Yeah. I think it was a fair assumption.
I read through it earlier. I have no questions.
One item I had not in the invoices, but on the balance sheet side is, looks like we're on track for the fiscal year in terms of revenue, but well under in terms of expenses. That's a good thing. I don't think we're going to end up short.
Right.
But
We're going to get cranked up on that construction project though too.
Okay.
So we'll start to see some.
the expense side starting to
Yes.
pick up. Okay.
Yes.
There it is.
One thing I didn't look too closely at or too deeply at, but maybe you can give me an update on, is the $220,000 that we spend on meter replacements. Are we about on track?
We're. I'm going to tell you that we probably spent about $200,000 there.
Okay, so we're probably on track to meet that.
Yeah, we're within staff talking to them about trying to schedule everything out and what we had left so that we hit it right. That we were going to be right about the 220, but not too soon.
Okay.
And so we're trying to pace our meter change outs the same way so that we don't get to May.
Yep.
And all of a sudden we need a bunch of meters put in somewhere.
Yeah.
If it's the apartment building behind Community First.
Yeah.
We don't need 12 of them set somewhere, and I've only got 8 sitting on the shelf. So
Okay.
we're trying
Right.
to
So we're keeping an
pace
inventory.
stuff
Yeah.
that way too, and plan that all out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess year to date we're at 166.5
Okay.
on that, so 75.68% on that
Okay.
expenditure.
We're right on track for that.
Is there a cost break for economies of scale, they're buying in bulk versus a
What we've tried to do is to order 144 of them at a time. And watch our shipping on stuff, because it seems like they'll charge us about as much if we order in sets of 6. So, you know, if we ordered 48 of them, our shipping's almost as much for 48 as it is for 144. And so we do 144, and we've got room in our meter room that we can get all those put together and set on the shelf, and then start working off of those before we order more. So that's kind of where we're at. I don't have a bunch sitting in boxes waiting to be put together yet. We're trying to order them as we can get through them. And it's, you know, the cost of the meters has been static for the most part. We haven't seen, and there hasn't been cost increases like we've seen with other stuff for price of metal.
Everybody ready?
Yep, those are my questions.
Motion to approve the invoices and financial statements in the amount of $448,809.74.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Agenda item number 4, the customer forum. Get the right page here. This is the item reserved to receive comments from the community, our customers, for concerns whether or not they are included in the current agenda. The community is encouraged to come and speak before the Water Board of Trustees and asked to keep statements brief. Any questions are to be asked to the Water Department staff and Board of Trustee members prior to speaking to the full Board of Trustees, so concerns may be properly researched and answered away from the meeting. Comments are to be directed at the Board of Trustees only. Time may be limited to 3 minutes.
And there were no items that came up that needed to be addressed at this point.
We will move on then to agenda item number 5, which is a public hearing for a mowing contract for the water treatment plant grounds. And this is the contract that was drafted.
Yep, you'll have that contract in your packet.
Okay.
It's borrowed heavily from the city's contract with Four Seasons,
Okay.
with just appropriate changes made
Okay.
on stuff, but it was very heavily borrowed from the city.
Okay.
And the LA Lawn Care was contacted. There was a question about the number of mowings, and were they wanting to be paid a minimum of 24 times or not?
Okay.
And Crystal called and got clarification, and that was just, that's what he was looking at, averaging over so many
Okay.
weeks. He figured this would be about this many mowings.
Okay.
But no, it was per mowing is how
Per
this
mowing.
was. And this contract was shared with the contractor via email. Friday night I had a phone conversation with him, and then sent it out and asked if he had any questions. I haven't heard anything back. So,
This is for everything, the hill and everything that.
the hill and around the tops of the levee, the ditches, along the ditches, and the pasture south of the pond, and everything.
A couple of times ago, they didn't want to do the hill, so.
Right.
This includes that.
This includes the hill. It was all indicated in the packets that we had out front. Everything was yellow lined, what was to be mowed. So,
And the limit of 6 inches, is that in line with the cities?
That's what we use, but it's for park ground,
Okay.
so.
And I had changed it to 4 inches, and then I was going through it. It says that they will not let it, the one that says it will not let it get more than 4 inches.
Okay.
And I was like, you know, if you have a really good week,
Yeah. A really rainy
That's-
week. Yeah.
yeah,
out there
it's
mowing.
like,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's reasonable. I didn't know.
It's got to be 18 before the city will mow it anyway.
Yeah, I didn't know. I thought it was 8 before. you start getting a call from the city.
Yeah.
So we're under that barrier, so.
Try to do
Well, it's 2.5 if I own it, but it's 18
Oh.
for everybody.
Okay. All right, okay, it cleared me. Any,
I need a motion to open the public hearing.
oh,
Oh,
okay.
well, there you go.
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing for consideration, discussion of the mowing contract with LA Lawn Care.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. We're in hearing.
And we have received no comments. Just did get it published in the paper this time. So,
So now we need to close it.
yep.
Was there any reason why it was a public hearing? Just curious.
Because it was a contract. I just went to, we were entering into a contract. I didn't want anybody to come back and scream that we didn't give opportunity for someone to say something. So,
Move to close the public hearing.
Okay.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Public hearing is now closed.
Make a motion to approve the contract with LA Lawn Care as presented.
Second.
Discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign.
Do we have any proof of what they've done? Sorry. Just
What, who's done?
performance by the contractor.
no, and you can't, with the public bidding stuff, that all changed. You can't ask for proof anymore.
Okay. So do we know if they've worked anywhere else?
I don't.
Okay. Ah, just curious.
We do have a termination clause in there that
Yeah.
seems to favor us. Okay, all good for agenda item number 6. We will move on to agenda item number 7.
Had the motion in the second, was there a vote? Did I miss the vote?
We voted to vote.
Okay, all right, all right.
Yeah, I asked the question after.
Okay, thank you. See, I was focused on the
Yeah.
question, and I was like.
And the answer is Kevin will volunteer to mow if it doesn't work.
Just the hill.
Just the hill.
Just the
With a push mower.
Yeah. Electric push mower.
Better get to it before it gets to 6 inches.
Okay. Agenda item number 7, consideration discussion of pay application number 8 from Dave Schmidt Construction Company Incorporated for the South D Water Replacement Project.
And in your packets is the information. There's a summary that was borrowed from the city council's agenda item showing the breakout, and then also the pay application with the highlights for what was spent on water. And again, at this point, all we're doing is paying down the retainage. Getting closer to finishing this up. The streetlights are up. They were in doing some concrete returns. And I guess I don't know from a Keylish's standpoint what's outstanding outside of maybe dirt work in
Seeding,
the.
dirt work.
Right.
There-
in the
Yeah, and you made a
stuff.
change order on high, restrictions. Do some drainage work there.
Right.
Marking.
Marking as well.
So
I
the-
appreciate the sign right now. Thank you. Now I know where that curve is. That's what you gotta do, right?
Yeah, it beats just trying to feel for it as you're
Yeah.
driving.
Yeah.
Yep, you're good, right?
One thing that stood out for me is, was there a 35 day, did I read it properly on the engineer's assessment? There's 35 days left? that they
Working
expect-
days?
That they expect for that?
They shouldn't, there
Okay.
shouldn't be. They were,
It could be that
under a contract for that much work.
I
I don't,
misinterpreted.
but it was like a 180 working day contract, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a long.
Yeah.
So,
They were
So
ahead for a
they've
while.
done 99 up till this, is what Garden and Associates,
Okay.
Garden says, and so they say remaining is 37 and a
And
half
And for our part, I don't know that that has any bearing on us because our stuff is done
If
again.
you're done, you don't have to worry
And,
about
and
it.
so where we went through this on the towers, we went past, and so we sustained extra expenses on construction observation. Well, the city would be the one that would bear that cost
Okay.
if that were
Okay.
an issue because our project's done. So it would just be
I'm not worried.
inspection
Okay.
services that may cause,
Yeah.
public entertainment, but that's on, again, this is a city project and we're tagging along.
I was trying to get a read for how much longer, or how many more paid applications we're gonna have for $100 a piece. I'd rather just get to the end.
I would think that we're, with the change in temperature, we're at the point where they should be able to come in and
They're
finish
gonna finish up.
stuff out here quick.
I'm sure they want to be done with this
They do,
as well.
because they're ready to move on to the next project.
Yeah.
Other stuff,
Yeah, yeah, of course. Okay, all right. It's clear to me. I will make a motion to approve pay application number 8 to Dave Schmidt Construction Company Incorporated in the amount of $109.53.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay, agenda item number 8, consideration and discussion of updating the water department rules and regulations.
Also in your packets, was information that I sent out. It's highlighted in yellow, the changes that were made. And when I had sent that out earlier in the week, I had included the old and the new, with the new highlighted so that you could compare and contrast the two. If we look at 2.7, all this is updating the rates to show March 1st of 2019 that the rates are now $7.92 per 100 cubic feet. Excuse me. Minimum charge of $15.84, which is based on 200 cubic feet. Item 2.7.2 dealt with the rates outside of city limits. That was changed a year ago, so that's been redacted and reserved. 2.7.3 just talks about bulk water rates. 2.7.4 dealt with the water rates for Beacon, which is no longer an issue, so again, that was removed and reserved. If we look, excuse me, 2.26. This was addressing the policy that Nick had requested for operations with a phone call for high water bills, in that staff will go out and collect a meter reading and report back to the customer, letting them know whether it's high, low, or normal. And they will also be directed to contact their licensed plumber for any concerns for potential leakage. So that is brand new.
We have some sort of a timeline in there. I'm just thinking, if they, if they call it Friday at 5, it might, to protect us, we want some sort of
Okay.
timeline in there. Within 72 hours or. I'm just seeing the problem. Somebody would come in and go.
Yeah,
"They
because she
didn't
was,
get out
hers
here
was a
for-"
timing issue that,
Yeah, they didn't get out here for 3 days, and so I want that 3 days taken. I mean, do we want to protect ourselves here?
within reason, what did I say within reason?
Yeah, what would be?
So normally we can get this stuff same day. The challenge would be a high workflow day, like it's a shut-off day. And there isn't a lot of extra time on shut-off day to go and do something. And so if we put in here by the next, by end of business the following day, or
I was gonna say next, end of next workday.
Next business day,
End
yeah.
of next business day?
Yep,
By end of the following.
End of the
So
following
it's
business day.
yeah.
Friday or Saturday, might be Monday.
Right.
Yeah.
Remember, 24 hours for each one.
Okay.
I just don't want somebody coming back saying, why you didn't get out there till Monday?
That's true. Yeah.
So,
Need a motion for that?
yeah, but I wanna,
Or say after that first sentence.
okay. Okay, so I have at the end of that first sentence where it says, report back to the customer. This will be done by end of business the following day. Is that appropriate? You want to tweak that at all? No.
End of the following business day.
Um, Thank you, Mayor. Okay, it can be done by end of the following business day. And then we go back and the customer will be notified that the meter reading is high, low.
Yep. Okay.
And then we look at 2.4 is the last one that has changes. This is a new paragraph. We have had customer
Is he
that.
still doing that?
He's still doing it. And he'll be in next Monday, about 4:30 or 4:40 with 100 and some odd dollars in coins. And he
Nice
takes,
something to wait till the end of the day to do it too.
he takes great pleasure in it. So,
Is he wearing Oskaloosa school?
he works for Twin Cedars.
Twin Cedars now?
He works for
Oh,
Twin
okay.
Cedars.
I didn't realize that.
Yes.
Okay,
But he's a math teacher at Twin Cedars.
okay.
And after the second month, we were notified by the bank where he had gotten all the coins because he told them what he was doing after he had purchased the coins. They told him that they would not do this for him again.
Oh, okay.
So this, for the month of March, he had to go somewhere else. But he will spend about 15 minutes in the parking lot unrolling them all and putting them into like a sling bag, and then bring them in.
Wow.
So they're not in the coils?
No, they're not. They're not wrapped in coils. It's all loose, and then it's always an odd amount. So, anyway, this addresses that.
Okay.
So, concerns over any of that?
The limit seemed fine to me.
Other than his reaction when the policy's in place. That would be
Yeah.
my only concern
Yeah,
for the office staff.
so if there's a way to laminate that in,
We will.
yeah.
Because
Put
the
that
first
on some of
first
that.
time he came in, and handed the coins across the counter, the employee said, well, I don't know that I can take all the coin. And he said, do you have a policy that says you cannot? I would like to see said policy. And we don't, until,
Soon we will.
yes, until this. So,
Okay.
then that will be, yes, pointed out and shared with him.
Okay.
Have a guy around.
Huh?
Have somebody around.
I'm always around because what happens is, I take the
That's
coin
fine.
and I dump them in a bank bag and I run it up to the bank myself and I bring it back and I hand the bank bag back to the employee at the front and then we go through the processing. But it's always me that goes and does that.
Okay.
I think it's worded well too, because it kind of directs it away from, or it kind of gives it a reason why too, so.
So, and we had discussions up front about what we've seen with others that,
Yeah.
because,
will be a
because,
normal-
we have other people
Yeah.
that have some loose change, but typically it's not more than any of these denominations,
Okay.
or amounts, yes.
Yeah.
So we think that we'll still be able to work with those who have small amounts of change.
Yeah.
And obviously we'll have room in the cash drawer too, this is kind of a concern too, if we didn't have room in the cash drawer.
Yeah, yeah, we don't want to limit somebody that this is their.
Truly
normal
needs,
Yeah.
right, versus
Yeah.
somebody that's being vindictive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would change one word though, that
Okay.
at the bottom line, where it says reduce, I would say convert. So that,
Okay.
go to their institution of their choice to convert the loose change to the paper bills
Okay.
as opposed to reduce.
Okay. I believe that covers all of the changes proposed for
Did-
rules and regs.
I had one other question,
Yep.
and it goes back to the beginning, 2.71 versus 2.73.
Yep.
The 271, we say that we're going to be charging per 100 cubic feet, and then in 273, we say it's going to be per 1,000 gallons. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe the metering is different in the two
It is.
different ways?
It is.
Okay.
The meter that's installed at out at the plant for the bulk sales is a 1,000-gallon read meter.
Okay.
And typically that's how we're getting, customers are coming in, with a big poly tank. It's 1,000-gallon up to a 3,000-gallon poly tank that we're filling.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Okay. Well, I will make a motion to approve the changes to the rules and regulations as presented with amendments to section 2.26 and 2.4 as discussed during the meeting today.
Might want to also say effective immediately.
Oh, effective immediately.
Second.
Any further discussion on either the rate side or other rules? All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay. On to agenda item number 9, consideration discussion of providing contingency funding for A Avenue West, Highway 432, and North L Street Water Main Replacement Project.
when I had this last month for consideration, I forgot to request contingency funding. And just didn't. We had our pre-construction meeting last Friday morning, and there's already just a couple things that we're looking at adding a little bit of extra concrete replacement in the course of what we're doing. And talked then that we would like to get contingency funding added in here. This is something that we have a line item for between this budget year and next budget year, $750,000, with the contract coming in at what was it, $593.80. I've ordered approximately $55,000 worth of hydrants and valves, which still gives me the $100,000 for inspection services and well, I guess that's, and valves in there too. So a $50,000 contingency. I don't expect to come anywhere close to that in what we're doing. But it won't, that way there isn't a holdup if something happens that we need to change order, that we've got to call a special board meeting to get it approved. This is a model that the city's been using for several years with great efficiency. We'd just like to keep duplicating that. And I apologize for not remembering it as we did it last month.
Yeah, this is something we had built into previous contracts.
Yes, we have.
I don't remember, recall based on a percentage basis of the other contracts? Is it around this 8%?
I think it's somewhere in the city kind of varies to
3
5 to 10.
Yeah, 3 to
Okay,
10%,
all
depending
right.
on the size of the
Okay,
project.
so it's
On
well
what's
within
going
those
on.
bounds.
And with the towers, we had a huge change order, so that
We did.
did
Yep.
go through
Yep.
approval process,
Yep.
because that was outside of the scope of what I could do.
Yep.
But yeah, it's.
But I would even say, even if I have the authority, if it's something massive, I
Yeah.
still will take that back to the council.
Just, yeah,
say,
just-
hey, I'm about to spend $150,000 on something.
Yeah, yep, yep,
We haven't had that happen, knock on wood, but
yep.
you never know. When you're building a $36 million treatment plant, probably gonna have something like that.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, but I'd definitely say that the value changes based on the size of the project, so this is within the normal bounds. It's clear to me.
So does this cover small change orders then or not?
Yes.
Okay.
So like, we were just, in the pre-con, we were talking about, on C Avenue West and L, what was designed as far as removing concrete, was about a 10-foot width. And that left a 2-foot, from a seam out 2 foot, which is within spec for engineering. They'll allow that much of a gap. It just looks crappy, right? And so the discussion during the pre-con was, why don't we just take that extra 2 foot out and we'll replace, instead of a 10-foot width, we're gonna replace a whole 12-foot panel. And that, well, that adds quantity. Well, that's beyond the scope, so if we can have
Yep.
authority in here to do this stuff, we just deal with it as we're going through the process.
Yeah.
And it's just a smoother product, and we try to address the little things that come up along the way. And we hope to have a great product when we're done and eliminate the bickering.
It's not meant to grow the size of the project or to deviate from what the board has approved. Like that,
Yep.
there has to be trust that the staff's
Yeah,
not gonna do
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Any other discussion on adding contingency to the A Avenue, Highway 432 and North L Street project? If not, I will make a motion to approve a $50,000 contingency to the North A, Highway 432 and North L, or A Avenue West, Highway 432, North L Street water main replacement project at the discretion of the general manager of the water department. Discussion.
To amend that to include the term, or will this be done by the time you're gone?
So some of this is gonna happen.
It's assumed.
Okay.
Yeah. If you say general manager, it's whoever's serving that.
Okay. Whoever's in that role.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
You weren't taught the same thing as assumed meant as I was growing up.
Second.
Or you already seconded.
Brandon.
Let's vote.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign.
I am fun to work for.
Okay. We are on to agenda item number 10, consideration discussion of post-employment consulting agreement with Chad Kuhn.
In your packets, there's 2 different things, well, there's 6 pages worth. There's a consulting agreement and then also lease. And I had asked Dave Dixon to draw this up. This is what he had to share. Brad couldn't be here today. He shared with me an email that there's a couple things that he would like to see in the consulting agreement. He would like to see a paragraph that states that I will also consult via phone as may be requested by OMWD and depending on my availability. Also, like to state in the agreement that I will invoice OMWD at least monthly for services including dates, number of hours, and topics discussed. Care to see that email.
So would that be like, item number 6 in this agreement?
I would, I'd put it before number 5, I think.
Okay.
I'd put both of those in there before number 5.
Okay.
Are you able to spend an 8-hour day every week?
Yeah, I started with vacation already up there, and so I will burn a vacation day up there to come down here and assist as needed through this process.
It's a paid vacation.
Really?
Oh, well, at least you can say you're headed south.
Yeah, 100 miles at a time.
Are there any terms to the lease, or?
And this was just a generic one that he had. I don't have any terms in there, but we would discuss that as part of this opportunity.
So are you foreseeing like taking 10 hours and putting it towards?
The lease?
Or just separate?
No, the lease in conjunction with the consulting, but separate as a
You will write a
payment.
check back to the water department.
Yeah.
Lease.
Is there a date when the lease would end?
Based on everything else I'm thinking and what's going on, I was thinking July 31, 2019. To have everything done and out and cleaned and
So we would need to finish the blank items here, right?
Correct.
Before moving forward with this lease. Is that something that we plan to do today?
I need to do, well, I mean, unless we want to do something, we want to have another special session. Because I will be gone before the next regularly scheduled board meeting.
Yep.
I was trying to remember too, what's the termination date?
May 3rd is my final date here.
Okay.
Well, there's not too many blanks.
Okay.
I filled mine too. exactly.
I'm guessing
Yeah,
that
right.
you have done this.
So we go from 5/1, I assume.
Mhm.
Argue 2 days. Your rental agreement start May 1.
Okay?
You go through 6, you said end of June?
July.
End of June. So 7/31 of 19. Does the utility, does the water department pay for utilities?
They pay for electric, there is no separate electric meter. I pay for gas and water and Wi-Fi, cable, all that. So
You
it's
pay,
fine.
you pay for them?
Yeah. Garbage is on the utility. There's a yard and a quarter dumpster down there like what sits out here that is picked up on a weekly basis.
Do you have a suggestion for amount per month?
My suggestion is what I pay now,
What do you pay now?
$30 a month.
$30 a month is what you pay.
Correct. it's a get to, got to.
Yeah.
I didn't have a choice, so the rent was essentially $1 a day.
So the question is, okay, given what's going on, we've got a camera shining on us, what do you want to tell the public?
Put that camera back there. I've never been in it. How many beds, how many baths?
I suppose there's 5 bedrooms and 2.5 baths is what it would be.
What is it, about 1,200 square feet,
I don't
1,400?
know.
Anybody got a computer that could look that up?
Yeah.
I don't think, I don't know that it's,
It won't
it won't show it on there
the-
because it's
It's all
government.
part of the.
But but there was the valuation study that was done that would give you some idea of the replacement cost. And so if you have that email available,
They didn't get in the house. They did that, so.
but aside from the square footage, what else should we be thinking about in terms of setting a rent rate? I guess number of bedrooms and bathrooms is part of that.
Beds and baths and conditions, and I can give you a range.
Cover a lot of the plant too,
Are you talking about the insurance?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can do a word search on house or
Here we
something.
go. Insurable replacements, 278,000.
That's gonna be a lot higher than, we don't have an assessed value of it.
Mhm.
No, there's no tax assessment on it.
Because they view it as like the entire parcel.
Yeah.
Right,
They
yeah.
do.
But there's no breakdown on the assessor for the dwelling. How many acres is it?
100 and some acres of property total, but that's,
On that parcel?
well, it's all,
It's all lumped
It's
together.
all-
because you've got both sides of the highway, both sides of the river.
So how much of it is a usable yard, I guess, right?
Usable yard?
No, I'm just saying,
Oh,
I
you're
could
so-
probably
oh.
subtract what the ground's worth and tell you what the house is.
This, they did estimate 2,100 square feet.
Basement?
Not finished.
So
It's
I could
not-
loosely,
it's not-
I could loosely tell you from looking at the outside, you could probably sell for $60 a square foot, so 126,000 for the dwelling. That's not off.
I can see that. You said 60?
$60 a square foot, that's $126,000 for the house.
21 acres, or?
Not new construction.
Yeah.
And was it remodeled? I thought the department spent quite a bit of work.
They've had, the garage was built in 2011, and there's an office space in there. And then it's got new flooring in 2007. Bathroom was also, both bathrooms were redone in 2007.
So, just making some assumption, if there's 100 acres there, the difference in those two numbers, 150,000, which is 1,500 an acre, I wouldn't think you could bump the house up. The grounds are worth at least 1,500 an acre. The worst ground nine was worth 1,500 an acre right now. So,
Yeah.
you know, if we made that assumption along with it, I'd say you're in the ballpark. So if I had $126,000 rental in the fleet, it'd be between $750 and $950 a month. Rent it.
That's the range that you would
If
foresee.
you came in my office and said I had a $125,000 house, what should it rent for?
That's the,
And
no, that's the
would be the
number.
range I would tell you,
That would
and
be
then
the
that
range.
would depend on
Yep.
what you're including, what you allow.
Yep.
It's got granite countertops, do you allow pets, do you, I mean, it's gonna be in that
all
ballpark.
those things. Okay. All right. Does that seem like a reasonable range for board members, ex officios?
As long as it's approximating market, I think that's what the public would expect. Yeah, so how do you know, where do you go from that? You could split that all down to $850 a month.
The range is from May 1 to July 31.
Correct. May 1 to July 31, 3 months.
3 months.
One thing that we talked, at least the last meeting I was at, we talked about, you said that you weren't really given the option, it was, if you get to live in the house, it was talked about that if that wasn't gonna be given before, the option was gonna be given to not live there. If you wanna rent, would you wanna rent it out, if that were the case, to somebody else? Or what would become of it? So, something else that was brought up last meeting.
Yep. And you're setting precedence on what you're gonna get.
Does your
Yeah.
contract currently require you to live in the house?
Yes,
It does.
yes.
Yeah, and then, so that's why I was asking about the termination, was that if you're no longer working for the city of Oskaloosa, then the contract would no longer require you to live there.
But there's also the termination, the housing continuation for 60 days in the contract.
Okay.
So that again, the contract would allow 60 days
Mhm.
after you're done.
Mhm.
So that would be roughly the end of June. Right? 60 days.
So it's $30 times 2
And whatever.
a month
And then
in the rent. Month of rent.
That's what I see.
Yeah, that's
in
kind of
that
what I'm
contract.
seeing too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Two months at the current rate, 1 month at a proposed rate. Right? To get to the end of July. Yeah. Middle of the range, is that a reasonable rate?
I think that's a rate nobody would argue with you.
Yeah.
I would not see any Seems silly, but especially since the majority of the normal wear and tear was over the last 15 years he's been here.
Yep. Okay, so within this agenda item, we have a couple of items. The consulting services as well as the lease.
For the lease, I would suggest that we just say it's $910. Scratch the word month and write the word term.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yep.
So it's not written in a monthly format since there's two rates.
Yeah, we're just, from 5/1/19 to 7/31, it's $910 per the term. Pay it in advance, be done paying that.
Okay.
Just scratch that line. It's II in the same amount. Or you could just actually just scratch that second part. Scratch from the II down to the word all. Deposit security, just write none. Landlord would pay electricity, garbage. Tenant would pay gas, water, and the other is gonna reflect cable and internet to the tenant. The manager, I assume, is just gonna be OMWD on number 7. And the only other thing is top, very first is gonna be between OMWD, Chad Coon. What's your address, Chad?
2077, Highway 63.
63. We need a really long motion now?
I think that it would be best to focus on the lease at this time.
Yeah, I think commit, yeah.
I foresee a couple motions here, one to deal with the lease and the other one to deal with the consultant agreement.
Take that.
Do you think we're clear on the lease side of it? Okay, yeah. So, yes, I need a motion.
Which one you want first?
The lease.
Hello.
Well,
I'll make a motion to approve a lease for the property at 2077 Highway 63 in Oskaloosa between the Oskaloosa Municipal Water Department and Chad Coon. Tell me when you catch up.
Good.
For a term dated 5/1/19, expiring 7/31/19, for rent in the amount of $910 per term, with no security deposit. With landlord taking care of electricity, garbage. Tenant taking care of gas, water, cable, and internet. All other terms as outlined by the lease.
Second. Further discussion on the motion? Clear? All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay,
Thank you.
now for the consulting agreement.
We want to add the line below the number 4. Yep.
I think you can just do that, so
Brad.
you just put her email, make a motion.
Was that the only thing?
Yeah, it was
That was the
over
only
there.
comment that I heard, and I think was applicable.
Move to approve the agreement for the consulting services from Chad Kuhn with the including email from Brad.
Yeah, I think I would add the starting date of the agreement to be the 4th May.
And that was that's all we need, right? Because we don't, the ending is after the 30 days.
Yep. So, motion as amended with a date. I'll second the motion with amendment, the date.
And the 4th of May is a Saturday. Okay.
So I have a question. So there will be, where is this? There is a plan for Chad to be here one day a week, and that it's not an as-on-call, it's he shall be here, correct?
Yes.
So the department will continue to have 8 hours times 75, no matter what.
So if the department has no questions for him in the afternoon, you're still writing that check. Is there a thought in your mind, Chad, as to what day it would be? Would it be a Monday or a Friday?
Not a Monday. It would be, looking at the schedule up there. Excuse me. Wednesday or Friday.
Okay.
Going over the schedule with staff up there and what days are available and not available.
Okay.
Yeah, I just think it needs to come with the understanding that the interim and the new guy knows they have Chad for that 8 hours. I don't think we can ask him to drive here and then say, oh, we only need 2 hours.
Yeah, yeah. It was my hope that it would be a Friday, or a Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And so that way Chad would have the ability to spend the weekend with the family and also, minimize the amount of commute time. If it ends up being a Wednesday, yeah, that's kind of tough to work with.
Right.
But in theory, it's 8 days.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about how that's going to work too. That the first few weeks, I think there's some pretty high intensity question answer that goes back and forth.
Yep.
By the time you get to the end of July, it may not be all that intense.
Right.
And I guess my question on this would be, do we want it, you want item number 2 to say shall or may?
Yeah.
Because if there isn't, there's no sense spending 8 hours down here if there isn't 8 hours worth of work.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to burn anybody,
Yeah.
so
I would assume that there's probably 8 hours in Waterloo that could be spent.
Well, I know there will be. I know there will be, but.
Or a vacation day that could be spent better.
So if that's changed to May, then that gives me the opportunity to be communicating with Matt about workflow and what's going on and whether it's necessary that particular week or not.
Okay.
So change shall to may,
Mhm.
and do we want to add at the discretion of the new general manager? I'm assuming we want him here until we have one hired,
Yeah,
and then it can be.
yeah, how, per discretion of acting manager.
Because speaking out loud,
Yeah,
if this guy gets it, it's going to be different than if somebody else gets it. Somebody else is probably going to need it.
yeah,
If you've had him for a month, month and a half, you probably know everything that.
Yeah.
You're gonna know it all, Matt.
You'll be on the upward side.
You'll be
of
on the,
slope.
you'll have more
Yeah.
knowledge.
okay.
Hopefully.
This, your head could explode if you try to do all of that in a short time.
Notebooks, lots of notes.
Yeah,
Okay. All right, so we do have a motion and a second.
I'll make an amendment to the motion to change item number 2.
I think,
Oh, we need.
Brandon needs-
Brandon-
Brandon had the original
Brandon
motion,
has to
so.
make
Get
the
on it.
So,
amendment.
make an amendment to the item number 2 to change shall to may. And add per discussion, or per, what is it?
At
Discretion.
At discretion of the
Of the new
general manager.
I will second the amended motion, since I made the original second.
At the discretion of the interim
No,
and,
I would say whoever we hire.
yeah, so the acting manager as well, so there could be some overlap.
I mean, there may be a point where the interim may say, we're good for this week. Or-
Mhm.
Again, I don't think we need to provide flexibility.
But with what we discussed earlier, you said that that was implied anyway, interim versus.
So we're thinking both.
Well, this one
both
says
acting and general.
specifically the new, oh, it says in here, shall assist the interim general manager and or the new general.
We can say at
We're
the
good.
discretion of the acting general
Yeah,
manager.
you're fine.
However you want to say that. Just so it's not the board's decision whether or not he comes down or not.
Mhm.
I want it to be somebody else's. We don't need a special board meeting, we just say this.
Yeah.
I would agree with you. Generally, it would be either one, but it specifically says interim and or the new general
Okay.
manager. It's fine, it's in number 1, maybe it'll be all right. So disregard those.
Okay. We have an amended motion. With a second. So I think we are ready for a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay, we are on to agenda item number 11, discussion of wastewater operations.
Any questions on any of that information?
Jeff? Anything from ex officio? Agenda item number 12, general manager's update.
Just a note, we found today in the process of doing some work ahead of the capital project on North L that there was a property that we pulled a meter from in 2014 and sent out a repair notice. The curb stop needed replaced. They replaced the curb stop in early 2015. Our notes had that it was off. Apparently, at some point, it got turned back on without a meter in place. There's a crawl space under the building that had a window open, it froze and split and was running wide open. So, they shut it back off, it's an unoccupied building, but unaccounted water numbers should go down next month.
Assume so, yeah. So the meter has now been turned off?
It has been,
Or no?
yes, it has been, the curb stop has been placed in the off position again.
Okay.
And just a quick, Oak Creek did sell, and we have closed out all the customer accounts on those, and on the master metering.
Okay. Good. Good. So that master metering has been implemented across the city?
Yes, so both mobile home parks are now master metered.
Okay, any other discussion on the general manager's update, board or ex officios? Okay, agenda item number 13, update from members of the Board of Trustees. I have no updates, discussion. Okay, agenda item number 14, closed session to evaluate professional competency of an individual whose appointment, hiring, performance, or discharge is to be considered, when necessary to prevent needless or irreparable injury to the individual's reputation and the individual's request of closed session. Iowa Code 21.5.
Go into closed session.
All those in favor say aye.
Actually, needs to be a roll call vote.
Oh, yeah.
No.
And,
Jeez, I am glad you're here.
and if we're gonna talk about a specific person, they've requested that.
It's Matt.
He signed up.
Yeah, he's requested.
Okay, so I will start the roll call. Jason Carter?
Aye, you want to say aye?
Yeah.
Okay.
Aye is it to approve closed session? Nay would be to disapprove closed session. Brandon Strasser? Aye. Kevin Packey? Aye.